Hey everyone, it's BlueLizardJello, and welcome back to another episode of Everything Possible here in Dark Souls 2. And today we're going to take care of the rest of Iron Keep, with the exception of killing the Oiled Iron King, because we're going to save that for another episode, and I'll explain that a little bit later. First we'll take care of this Alonne Captain, and now we have a pair of Ironclads, or Armored Ninja Turtles, that are in our way from proceeding. And what I'm going to do first is actually snipe the Ironclad in the back, and the reason is if you leave him to his own devices, he will start smashing the bridge, and eventually one of the panels will give way, meaning there'll be a gap that you have to jump. It's not a very big gap, it's very easy to make, but I find it easier to just kill him now. I like that you play dead after that attack for a little while. I think that's a good move on your part. Pick up the Ironclad Leggings. And the other Ironclad actually dropped a large Titanite Charge, so you can pick up the Ironclad armor as well as large Titanite Charge from these enemies. Next we'll run in, and of course we have to give our friends a dip. And if you're lucky like I was, this Alonne Knight will decide to commit suicide along with him. I'm guessing the three of them were really good pals. Maybe they went to high school together, and they've just always had this long-standing agreement. If one goes down, we all go down. And you know what? I respect that. Using the Ferrous Lockstone on this contraption, reveal this wall, we can climb up. And from here, you can go one of two ways. You can continue with the level and get a bird's eye view, or you can hop down here, light this bonfire, and actually take out Belfry's soul, which is exactly what we're going to do. So Belfry's Soul in Iron Keep is the complement to Belfry Luna, which we'll see in a little while in the Lost Bastille. And here's a quick transition of me talking to the dwarf here, the Keeper of the Covenant. Joining the Covenant, that way we can pick up the Bell Guardian Seal, or the Bell Keeper Seal, rather. The only reason to wear this ring is if you want to actually be a part of this Covenant and actually perform invasions, then you wear this ring. Other than that, the ring serves no purpose. So here's Belfry's Soul, and they start out right off the bat by sending these Bell Keepers after you, as well as some other phantoms, like casters, and there's a dual Avalon wielding enemy. There are some knights that hold greatswords. It's a pretty dangerous area, and they all pack quite a punch, so I'm a broken record. Use range if you have it. Now the nice thing about this area is if you're looking to farm items that these enemies could drop, or items that the Mad Warrior can drop, and we'll get to him in just a second, the other NPCs, the caster, the dual Avalon, the greatswords wielding enemies, they don't respawn once you've killed them. These Bell Keepers do have the normal 12 spawn limit. So if you'd like, you can farm them to extinction, and then you can farm for the Mad Warrior. Now the Mad Warrior unfortunately does not appear in this run because I wasn't actually part of the Bell Keeper Covenant. If you want to fight the Mad Warrior, who is a rare black phantom, you first need to join the Bell Keeper Covenant, and then you come up here, and I'll show you where he spawns in just a moment. Right in that left corner that we just ran past. If you don't see him, that means he didn't spawn, and you want to just run back to the bonfire and rinse and repeat until he spawns. Now, he is a rare spawn who also has rare drops. The nice thing about his spawn is that he will spawn indefinitely, but just not every time. So you can get his Berserker Blade, and you can also get the Mad Warrior set. He will only drop one piece of each per playthrough. Quick side note, some Simpleton Spice. There are 3 of them in this area, so this is a really good area. If you do want to farm for Simpleton Spices, you can use a bonfire ascetic at the bonfire we just lit just a moment ago, because there is no boss associated with this area, so you can use an ascetic and farm to your heart's content. Going back to the Mad Warrior, he will only drop the Berserker Blade once. He will only drop each piece of his armor once. He will continue to spawn after that, but he won't drop any items once you've collected all of them. Here we have the dual Avalon wielding enemy, who would be much tougher if he had the AI of a player, because he only ever uses one at a time. He never actually fires rapidly both of them. He just fires one at a time, reloads, and then he'll fire the other one after that. You have 2 Avalons, man. You're incredibly inefficient with them. I guess, fortunately for us. Now, I ran back down simply because the Bellkeeper has actually invaded my world. I am offline, so no players can invade me, but you will get invaded by this one Black Phantom Bellkeeper. It's the same as the other Bellkeepers, he just has more HP. So we'll just take care of him. Now with these Bellkeepers, I say use range attacks, and I still hold to that. However, you don't want them to get their bows out. These little buggers are deadly with their bows. They can fire very rapidly. They have the aim of Robin Hood in Men in Tights, mind you, that Robin Hood. And they have tracking like you wouldn't believe. You might think that they're not going to hit you because you're going to dodge 100 feet to the left. Oh, no, no, no. They know that, and they're going to hit you. So just word of caution. Again, going back to Men in Tights, it's like the Patriot arrow, if you can remember that scene. If not, maybe I'll put a link in the description below for that scene because it's one of my favorites. I also just watched it yesterday. I guess that's why it's on my mind. Almost done here. 2 more Bellkeepers to take care of, and then we can actually move on. So here I am, cowering like a little child behind this pillar because I know that once they get their bows out, it's dangerous. See, look at how fast they shoot. And that tracking. Alright, but with him taken care of, the enemies are dead. We can go collect the 2 other spices in the area. One here, which we'll get next time. I guess this one was more important. We'll grab this Simpleton Spice. And then we'll run back to the shiny that we just ran past. And we'll pick this one up. And since we rang the bell, the gate is now open, and we can open this iron chest and pick up the Immolation Pyromancy. This, I need to play around with this. I've never used it. I know what it does. Basically, it sets your own body ablaze, and it causes damage to nearby enemies, so kind of cool. Human Effigy and Triclops Snake's Troches. Remember, we learned the pronunciation yesterday. The Triclops Snake Troches will actually increase your petrification resistance. We'll open up this illusory wall by interacting with it. And in the left chest, we will get the Black Knight Greatsword. And in the right chest, we'll get the Protective Chime, which is borderline useless, to be quite honest, and the Grand Spirit Tree Shield, which is basically terrible as well. Although, it is one of my favorite shields in the game for purely cosmetic reasons. I think it is a very cool looking shield. So check it out if you're into Fashion Souls. Go ahead and sell it to Gavlon if you're actually into defense. Here we have the Thunder Quartz Ring +1. That'll increase our lightning resistance by 80. Could be useful against the Looking Glass Knight. And I'm going to spell snipe some of these captains before I continue, because they do fire great arrows, which do have quite the knockback, and we don't want to be messing with knockback when we're playing over lava. Like this. That almost pushed me off. Now, I believe I would have been safe because I think the ledge extended far enough over there, but still. Got my heart racing just a little. Save 1 Great Lightning Spear, and the reason is there's this Crystal Lizard hiding over here who will jump off into the lava as soon as he sees you. But no worries with Great Lightning Spear. And he dropped for us a large Titanite Shard, a Titanite Chunk, and a Firedrake Stone. And over here we have a large Soul of a Proud Knight and a Radiant Lifegem. And over there you can see another iron chest hidden on those flaming rocks. So we are going to have to use the same tactic that we used earlier to get some treasure in order to get this one. And this one is arguably the most difficult to get due to how far you need to run to actually get to the chest. And the fact that it's an iron chest means it takes a little bit longer, so you will be taking more damage. But we have ways around that. Now speaking of iron chest, we're going to take a close look at this one because there's something just a little bit off about it. And by something a little bit off, it's actually very noticeable. Those two clasps on the chest indicate that this is a mimic. The regular iron chests do not have that. Now the wooden chests are different to discern, but that's how you decipher whether or not an iron chest is a mimic. We're going to use a Lloyd Talisman so we can get the Lightning Wing Spear and the Dark Armor, so another piece of the Dark Souls 1 Dark Wraith set. And from here we're going to prepare to go get that other iron chest down on the Fiery Rocks. So you see that I used the Flame Quartz Ring +1. I'm rolling through this water. I have Flash Sweat ready to go, and you might be surprised at just how effective this is at warding off this fire damage. In fact, I surprised myself, so if you're not surprised, that means you're way more knowledgeable and you should be the ones making the videos. Seriously, start making the videos. I have no problem watching. And of course I decided to hit yet another switch to pour the molten rock into the chutes, making it more difficult to get by. First we grab the fire seed and take a look at my health. With Flash Sweat, the water, and the Flame Quartz Ring, I am taking no discernible damage whatsoever, which makes this very easy to get to, and now we can pick up Chaos Storm. Chaos Storm is a pyromancy. It is similar to Firestorm, however it is more powerful, and it will leave residual pools of lava where the flame shot up, which can actually cause additional damage to your enemies. Go ahead and resituate our gear here. There it is. And I'm sure everyone already knows this, but those little black squares that are on the narrow walkway right next to those square platforms, those are switches that will drop those platforms. So if you want an easy way of taking out the Alonne captains, you can go ahead and use that tactic. Picked up a soul item there, and now we have the Alonne captain Helm, which is not our first, sadly. And from here, we're going to let this Ironclad do what they do best and kill themselves. It's probably not what they do best, but they're not terrible at it. And we're going to run down here, we're going to grab the large soul of a Nameless soldier and the Monastery Charm, and we're going to go through this fog gate, but we're not actually going to take this path. I'm simply opening up this path just in case we needed to use it later. But we're going to do a little bit of backtracking. We're going to go back to the ladder where the mimic was, and we're going to continue that way. And the sad reality is, I apparently have the memory of a goldfish because I almost stopped to go open up that chest to see what was in it. You could see just a slight hesitation. And in this wooden chest, we are rewarded with 10 destructive Greatarrows. So if you're looking to troll some players and you want to break their equipment just because you want to see the world burn, here you go. At the top of the ladder, we have another Ferrous Lockstone contraption. I can think of no plausible reason to use that contraption. To me, it is a complete and utter waste of a lockstone. It just pours out healing water like the previous one did, but we don't have any need for it. Now, I guess if you do want added fire defense for the Old Iron King and you can be quick about it, potentially you could use it for that reason. It's up to you. I mean, Melentia could always use your business buying another lockstone. We have 3 captains up here. We have 2 next to each other, and then there's another one hidden to the right. But instead of going for the one on the right, I'm going to go ahead and waste 3 Dark Orbs until I realize that the range is absolutely terrible on that Hex. Oh, did I say 3? So we will now switch to this one, who's a lot closer. Now we can just hop down and we can finally get our Dark Orb to collide with this one. And I will walk into this Greatarrow. Good, right on schedule. And now we'll finish him off. And finally we pick up our Captain Armor. We have the Simpleton Spice, and over here we have yet another Black Knight weapon. We have the Black Knight Greataxe. Refueling some of my spell charges, and very carefully hop down. They're pretty wide platforms. I have faith in you. We can get ourselves a cracked Red Eye Orb and another torch. Hop down again, one more time. And we will take care of this Alonne Knight. Now that hallway, that archway right next to him, that is where the fog gate led. So we are just now on the opposite side of that. That was a pretty good dodge, I'll give him that. Line yourself up with this chain and walk off slowly. You can land right on the edge of this cauldron. Pick yourself up the Covetous Gold Serpent Ring, the downgrade to the version that we got from Magarold in the previous episode. So, kudos on item placement, FromSoft. I know you can miss the one from Magarold, but in all fairness, you can miss that one too. I know I did the first time. Anyway, just a couple more Ironclads to deal with before picking up the last of our items for this episode, and then I will talk to you about how we are going to handle the Great Ones. In fact, I'll just tell you now. So what I'm going to do is, because we already made it up to the Rotten in our Everything Possible Before Boss series, we are going to get up to the Great One boss fight in Iron Keep. We've already done it in Black Gulch. We're going to do it in the Lost Bastille, and we're going to do it in Brightstone Cove, Seldora. We are then going to make a separate episode just for the killing of the 4 Great Ones and lighting of the 4 Primal Bonfires, just for continuity's sake. So in case any of you are wondering why aren't I killing the old Iron King right now, there you go. Run past this fire. Now this item you can get very easily after you climb the ladder that's straight ahead, because you can turn the fire off. I'm going to get it now just so I don't have to do some backtracking. It's a lightning shortbow +1, not an incredibly powerful item, but if you're looking for some lightning damage and some range attacks, I guess that's something you could consider. Although we're going to be meeting Steady Hand McDuff pretty soon, so you can make anything lightning if you want. So that's actually all of the items that we could possibly get here in the Iron Keep, except for some of the rare drops, of course. But we're going to go up here, turn the fire off. So all of the fire-spewing bullheads that we've encountered are now extinguished, including the one at the very beginning where we picked up the iron key. So if you don't want to risk getting burned, you can wait until you turn them off, and then you can backtrack. You can pick up the iron key that way. Taking a look, you can just see the edge of the platform where we're going to be fighting the old Iron King in just a little while here. But other than that, that is the Iron Keep. I hope you guys learned something. If you did, please feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know. If I missed something, of course you have to let me know. That's the only way that I and the community can learn. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.